Caravan continues to ignore Trump's warning, so his response just got bigger. President Donald Trump warned the large migrant caravan headed for the U.S. border that they'd do well to turn back around and go home, but they didn't listen. Now, they might be realizing their big mistake after Trump's latest announcement. This is going to get ugly. Reports last week estimated that the Trump administration was preparing to send 800 U.S. troops to the border to stave off the thousands-strong caravan of Central American migrants. Now, that number has drastically increased. According to the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. military plans to deploy 5,000 troops to the southwest U.S. border in anticipation of a caravan of would-be asylum seekers and migrants currently moving northward in Mexico, U.S. officials said Monday. The plans, dubbed Operation Faithful Patriot, reportedly call for 1,800 troops to deploy to Texas, 1,700 to Arizona, and 1,500 to California. Under Operation Faithful Patriot, troops are expected to be assigned to ports of entry in the early phase. They are expected to support Border Patrol agents and U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) officers in dealing with the anticipated migrant caravan arrivals. The troops are expected to come from about 10 U.S. Army installations. The composition of the forces is expected to include military police, engineers, and medical personnel. CBP Commissioner Kevin McAleenan said his agency is updating long-standing plans to deal with a mass migration situation. Those plans include temporary holding and processing facilities, he said. McAleenan said he plans to ensure the CBP can secure the ports of entry and prevent a large group from coming at one time. Source Breitbart. President Donald Trump is expected to make a speech on Tuesday to outline other actions he will take to stop the migrant caravan from successfully entering the United States. Those could include a national security-based executive order to limit or halt the migrants' ability to make asylum claims at the border. Heavy check mark real Donald Trump. Many gang members and some very bad people are mixed into the caravan heading to our southern border. Please go back, you will not be admitted into the United States unless you go through the legal process. This is an invasion of our country and our military is waiting for you. Indeed, the caravan is chock full of dangerous criminals and gang members. That much was openly admitted by one of the migrants himself during an on-camera interview with Fox News. Criminals are everywhere, said Honduran immigrant Nixon Hernandez. It's criminals in here. It is. But it is not that many. It is good people here trying to get through Mexico and then get to the United States. It doesn't mean that everybody is a criminal. While there are undoubtedly good people traveling with the migrant caravan, it only takes a handful of bad eggs to make a major, irreversible impact. After all, the Boston Marathon bombing was carried out by just 2 people, the 9/11 terrorist attacks were perpetrated by only 19 men, yet still resulted in nearly 3,000 dead Americans. In a tweet last week, independent reporter Sarah Carter announced that people from India, Bangladesh, and Africa are part of the mob headed for the U.S. border. She made the startling discovery after searching through the throngs of immigrants herself to see exactly who was making the trek. Sarah Carter. Guatemalan intelligence discovered people from India, Bangladesh, Africa had also joined in with the caravan. I bumped into a number of young MS-13 gang members. Judicial Watch Chris Farrell and Guatemalan Secretary of Strategic Intelligence Mario Duarte on the border with me. Adding to concerns is the fact that a whopping 80% of these migrants are grown men under the age of 35. Don't let the mainstream media fool you into believing that the caravan is full of women and children. There are some women and children making the trek, but their numbers pale in comparison to the able-bodied men on the journey, able-bodied men who are fully capable of holding a job and making a decent living in their home countries. Are there dangerous criminals traveling with the migrant caravan headed for the U.S. border? Yes. There's no question about it. Make no mistake.